We want to start with welcoming Jamie in. And Jamie, I understand you're on the way to Hawke's Bay, but you've pulled over to get a bit of service, and hopefully we can grab a quick chat with you.
Yeah, morning, Emily. Yep, pulled over for a sec after having a bit of a snooze, so on the way.
Let's just crack straight into it with the Group 1. It's the race that everybody wants to know about. You've got a triple-headed attack at the race. We'll start with Avantage. What did you make of that last start run? Is that just a classic second up run by a mare?
Yeah, I think so. Didn't make things easy on herself, missing the kick a little bit. And then was sort of forced a little bit wider than we wanted to be through nobody's fault, but closed well. But as you say, maybe just, maybe upon reflection, big run in the Foxbridge a couple of weeks earlier, and the fact is that it came to a head during the race might have just meant that she didn't sprint as well as what we might, have thought that she would.
And how has she come through that, and how well do you think you've got her prepared for the mile?
I think she's in good shape. Obviously, I said to Aidan Tuesday morning before a fortnight ago that her work wasn't as good as what it normally can be. That isn't the case this week, which I'm pleased to say. So we're happy with her. Her work on Tuesday was good. Danny, I was really happy with her on Thursday morning. So I think she goes into the race in good shape from a handy gate and two, really solid runs under her belt. Hopefully she's close to peaking.
You've just got a minor gear change as well, which I just wondered if you could tell us about. And it is to do with that start, isn't it? Taking the barrier blanket off and going with the blindfold instead. Is that just because of that issue at the start last time?
Yeah, we've sort of shied away from barrier blankets and using them, a bit more regularly than what we used to. I think due to the fact that the gates have improved a lot over the years, and what you're trying to protect is really from the horses feeling the cold on their flanks, and because the gates are so well carpeted now, my personal feeling is there isn't a lot of advantage in wearing a barrier blanket. But if you can get the horse to stand and wait their turn, which a blindfold is a big help at doing, then when they come off they know it's business time, and we have had good success using them, so hopefully that's the case again today.
You've also got Melody Bell in the same race, and I know there's a lot of speculation around about her. Was she as good as we've seen her in Australia? And obviously not ideal to have to bring her home and rethink her campaign. Where do you think she's at, and what did you make of that trial win?
But the trial win was good. Franked by Osaka winning yesterday. I know only in a 72 at Te Rapa, but at least the trial form stacked up. Tuesday morning work was okay. Thursday morning work was good. Very pleased with how she looked on Thursday. I thought she looked like she was back to her old self, and she's close to fighting weight. Looks really good in the coat, feed bin and temperature. Everything's been spot on throughout the week. So I think she's close to where she needs to be, but she could be the big improver for the last leg as well.
Does she need to be at her best to win in New Zealand Group 1? There's a big difference, isn't there, between Australian weight for age and New Zealand weight for age?
Absolutely. But I do believe that Avantage is probably good enough to go over and be competitive. And a few of those horses in that race are as well. So for sure she's got to be at her best. No doubt about that. And, hopefully she's somewhere close to that today.
The maybe horse that's been overlooked of your three is Prix de Fer. We know his quality. We saw that last season. How's he been ticking along, and why avoid that first day and just come straight to the second day?
I'm really pleased with him, Em. He's going well. He's a horse that doesn't lick the feed bin clean each night like Avantage. And for that reason, we're just a little bit concerned about 3 trips to Hastings in 6 weeks. 3 long flight trips, whereas in previous years we've had sort of 7 weeks and a 3-week gap between one of the runs, which is pretty important in our opinion. So we just gave him a couple of days in the paddock. He had a strong exhibition gallop at Matamata last Wednesday, and we think he's prepared well for the race.
Let's move along to the Hawke's Bay Guineas, and you've got a very short-priced favourite in that, in Need I Say More. And there isn't really a whole lot to say because he's just doing the job every time you ask, isn't he? understand doesn't show you a whole lot at home, but hard to ignore what he's doing on the track.
Absolutely. He's a horse that turns up on race day, and he's building an imposing record. So very happy with him. He's drawn a bit of an awkward gate, but he's got good natural gate speed and should have enough speed to sort of go forward and across and race somewhere near the speed and be hard to beat.
Confidence levels obviously pretty high with him. If you had any concerns, you mentioned the barrier. Is there anything else that would be of concern? You're very comfortable with where he's at.
Yeah, comfortable with where he's at. But his first run at 1400, and I guess that's something to make note of. But I don't think it's going to be any trouble to him.
And the fifth race on the card has a pretty exciting galloper in Festivity. You've also got penultimate in the race as well. We haven't seen a lot of Festivity, but I remember interviewing Michael McNabb at Wellington after she won, and he was just elated with her. And she's a horse that promises a lot, isn't she?
Yes, she is. She's got a lovely pedigree. She's a good sort, trialled well. Good natural gate speed to put herself up in the race. So certainly looking forward to seeing her go today.
Is she sort of got a genuine reason to be that short a price of favourite, or you think she's too short, or you feel confident with where she's at?
Yeah, confident with where she's at. The bookies haven't missed her. There's no doubt about that. $2.50, $3 would have been great shopping, but we haven't been able to get that. So we go into the race in good shape. Happy with her.
I know it's a tricky question. We're just bringing up your book of runners for Hastings, but if you had to separate the three in the Group 1, which one would you put on top?
Probably Avantage. A few people have asked me the same question, so I'll stick with her, mainly just because of the good barrier and those two, hard runs under her belt, which should see her near peak fitness. No disrespect to Melody Bell, who's coming in off a bit of an interrupted prep, and Predator is certainly a big horse for the future, but it's going to be a little bit tricky for him from the barrier. He's going to need a little bit of luck, so we'll stick with Avantage at this stage.
And we get you to take us down to Riccarton, where you've got another really busy day coming up as well. You're going to be watching a lot of TV and a lot of replays after today. But Avon Arlo at 170 and 190, 2 trials, 2 wins, and you can't really fault that, can you?
No, it's always hard to be too confident around the babies at this time of the year because there's just so many unknowns. Good word on the contributor horse, Kenny Rays. So, look, he'll go forward. Hopefully he finds the rail, and just going to be interesting at this stage what happens when he comes under a bit of pressure, because he's never really come off the bridle yet.
In race number 7, you've got Aotea Lad, you've got Summer Monsoon, Phantom Witness. We just spoke to Sam Wynn, and she was very happy with her charge, Phantom Witness. Would that be the one that you see as your best in that race?
Yeah, I think so. He's a horse that's got a lot of upside. We really like him as a sprinting type of horse. He's gone down there to hopefully get ready for the stewards. He's got to get through the grades a little bit further yet, but he's a horse that's got a lot of promise. Sticky barrier draw. We'll have to leave that up to Sam. Aotea Lad will go forward and put himself in the race. And Summer Monsoon's coming back from 14 to 12. He's quite keen the other day, so hopefully that shouldn't pose any problems, but probably Phantom Witness on top there.
And then in the feature on the card at Riccarton, Cornflower Blue, she was a dominant maiden winner. How has she settled into life down south, and how has she trained on since that last start win?
Yeah, she's in good shape. We're pleased with her. Looks to be an exciting filly for the future. Good natural gate speed to hopefully get up and across from a bit of an awkward gate, but yeah, we're happy with her, and the team at Waikato Stud, Mark, was keen to get down there early and target this race, and then hopefully into the John Grigg in a fortnight and onto the 1,000 guineas. Best on the card at Riccarton for us? Hopefully Cornflower Blue in the stakes race.
And across the Tasman, you've got keen eyes, no doubt, on Probabeel taking her spot in the Epsom. And I'm sure a real disappointment when you heard the barrier draw. But I've had a lot of people say during the week that they can win from out wide in this race. So that's got to be something to keep your hopes on.
Absolutely, and very pleased with the way that she's prepared. She's had a good prep. She's got into the race with what we believe is the right sort of weight. She's just going to need luck from the barrier. So, we've been here before from a sticky gate with Te Akau Shark last year. we just need a little bit of luck and running, and we're a definite, hopefully winning chance.
What's the communication been like between yourself and the team across the Tasman? Do you get videos? Do you get phone reports after galloping? It must be so hard for you to get a proper line on the horses.
Yeah, you've just got to have faith in your staff and your horse and the team of people that you've put in place. And I've been very pleased with Ashley. She's done a great job looking after us. She's a wonderful communicator, and certainly gives us back here in New Zealand good confidence that everything's going the right way.
On the back of the Epsom, say she comes out, she wins. What do? Is there a talk of a Cox Plate or even a 4-year-old race like the Golden Eagle? Is there any plans in place for after the Epsom?
The plan has always been to get through today's run before we make that decision, but those are the 2 races that we're looking at. If we think she's a better miler, then we'll look at the Golden Eagle. If we think that she's going to stretch a bit further, then Brendan has always been very keen on the Cox Plate. It's the 100th running this year, so look, we've got some decisions to make once we get through this afternoon.
Well, best of luck, Jamie. It's a fabulous day for you, and you've got so many great chances, and hopefully you can get some home and be celebrating some more Group 1 success.
Thank you very much.